Hey guys, physiology for the uninitiated. Really quickly, I want to talk to you about protein and satiation. Now, I know I had a video about protein and satiation, specifically in unscripted version. This is still unscripted. And in that video, I waffled on a little bit, but I want to dive right into this. Protein, when it's broken down into branched chain amino acids, these amino acids work almost as like hormonal transmitters, and like precursors to neurotransmitters. So listen up, this is going to be a really quick video on how the mechanism of protein and the digestion of protein satiates hunger better than glucose, fatty acids, and cholesterol, any other macromolecule that you could think of. And this is why you should keep protein inside of every single one of your meals. You want it at least 20 to 40 grams. Now, we could go above 20 to 40 grams if you're a trained athlete, if your body needs it. So let's say that you have a high amount of muscle mass and you want to preserve this muscle mass. Let's go and shoot beyond 40 grams of protein. Sure, that's fine. For the regular person, 20 grams of protein, depending on how large you are in muscle mass and how far along in your fitness journey that you are. These are the two exceptions that you would like to make. 20 to 40 for the layman. So, with that out of the way, when protein gets broken down into amino acids, we have 6 different types of amino acids. I'm going to pull them up here really quickly. We have leucine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, glutamine, arginine, and that is it. So that's 5 total amino acids that all satiate your hunger, your drive for hunger. And it signals to your stomach, which your stomach will then signal to your brain that, hey, we're done. But when an amino acid is broken down in the digestive tract, and these specific amino acids flow throughout the entire bloodstream and then attach onto the target cells that they need to attach onto, these can work as precursors to specific neurotransmitters. So when we look at the amino acid L-tyrosine, which is not labeled underneath one of the amino acids that satiates hunger, but when L-tyrosine is broken down, and when that's broken down and hooked up to the correct target molecule, target cell, then it is used as the precursor to dopamine. Now, if you don't know anything about dopamine, people have called it the molecule for more. I'm sure that's a book somewhere. It's the neurotransmitter that gets emitted to push you towards a motivating factor. So we think about a positive feedback loop in regard to you chasing dopamine. So you do something once and then you forage and go find more of that thing, whatever that is, whether it's reading enticing information on an article that piques your interest. You keep diving in for more and more and more information. Or maybe it's and a very easy one to say is like sex. When you insert your male organ into a female organ, into the female orifice, and you push farther and farther into this endeavor, this is a positive feedback loop. So every time you do it, your brain then signals for you to say, okay, that's what we want. Let's go for that again. Boom. Anyways, that's L-tyrosine for you in a nutshell. That's the precursor to dopamine. It's L-tyrosine, L-dopa, and then dopamine. So that's a really long conversation in and of itself, but we want to think about amino acids in regard to, I'm seeing how much time we have, in regard to in regard to the mechanisms of action that your body will take to be flipped on to the idea that you're done eating. Now, I heard something really interesting that Andrew Huberman has talked about. Your body will keep, your body's wired when you're eating to keep foraging for food until that amino acid sequence is satiated, until that amino acid sequence is completed. So your body is driving towards amino acids when we're sitting down to eat. That's why it's so important to keep protein as a part of your everyday diet. And the big reason why after you eat like a protein bar, you're pretty much done. That protein bar may have tasted good, it may have tasted sweet, but how many protein bars can you actually eat? That's something that I want you to think about for a little bit. Anecdotally, just think about the amount of protein bars that you can eat. Not that many. And they're, usually protein bars are packed with loads of horrible things like seed oils and stuff like that, which are inflammatory. That's the reason you don't want to eat seed oils or eat too many of them, is that maybe they're a little bit endocrine disrupting, but really you're looking at the inflammation markers that seed oils will pertain to. So I know I'm kind of all over the place, but these are the things I'm really passionate about. Let's name these amino acids one more time. We have leucine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, glutamine, arginine. Now, when these amino acids trickle throughout the body's system after digestion, and one thing I do want to note is that when a protein gets digested, it is much, much more difficult for the body to process and break down protein in opposition to fats and glucose, or fats and complex and simple carbohydrates. It's a quicker process to break those other foods down. They get into they circulate throughout your bloodstream, such as we have the fats and we have the carbohydrates, and they get put immediately into storage. There is no signaling with neurotransmitters, or not anyone that I'm very well read up on, that are as overt as what these amino acids will do. So leucine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, glutamine, and arginine. Keep these in mind. We have talked about arginine in the past also. It's a precursor to nitric oxide. I'm the guy that was talking about the nose, emphasizing the nasal passageway as your primary source for getting air, because you release your paranasal sinuses release NOS, nitric oxide synthase. It's an enzyme that the oxygen molecule will catch in the paranasal sinuses, and then throughout the traveling into your lungs, where the oxygen molecule then diffuses into the bloodstream to then vasodilate the lungs and all of the circulatory vascular tissue. It's a vasodilator, helps you drop into the parasympathetic nervous system. This is not just about protein. It's all-encompassing. It's all-encompassing more than glucose could be, more than fats could be, more than simple and complex carbohydrates could ever be. Understand that when you don't have protein initiated in your everyday diet, you're missing out on really important neurotransmittory factors. So keep this in mind. The next time that you go to the grocery store, the next time that you decide to eat some food, emphasize one thing and one thing only: protein, and then start thinking about the other things that will they'll increase that dopamine. Like a big reason why we eat foods that are high in complex or simple carbohydrates is because it feels good. Don't get me wrong, it feels good. It's got that positive feedback loop too, but there's diminishing returns with it, because in the long term you could end up getting diabetes. If we could talk more about that, I would really love to talk about the mechanisms of type 1, type 2 diabetes. But also, in the short term, you get that insulin, that rise in insulin, and then that significant crash in insulin as well. That could be stopped by prioritizing protein, putting that first, and then stacking everything on top of that. Thank you so much. This is Science for the Uninitiated. We're out.